This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
What happens after death? What happens after death? It is one of the oldest and most profound questions humanity has ever asked. Every civilization, every religion, every philosopher has wrestled with this mystery. The question does not simply seek to understand what lies beyond our final breath. It asks us to contemplate the nature of existence itself. And yet, despite thousands of years of searching, one truth remains. We do not know for certain, but in the absence of absolute answers, we are left with clues from history, from philosophy, from science, and from human experience. If we look to history, we see that beliefs about the afterlife are as old as humanity. The ancient Egyptians believed in a detailed afterlife, where the soul traveled through the underworld and was judged by Osiris. They mummified bodies and filled tombs with food, treasures, and written spells to guide the dead to the afterlife. Their practices reveal a belief that death was not an end, but a transition to another form of life. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle spoke of the soul's immortality. Plato believed the soul existed before birth and continued after death, returning to the world of forms, a realm of perfect truth and beauty. Socrates, before drinking poison in his final moments, said, "Death is either a dreamless sleep or a passage to another life." His calm acceptance reminds us that great minds have often viewed death not with fear, but with curiosity. Eastern traditions offer their own insights. In Hinduism, death is part of the cycle of reincarnation. The soul is reborn in a new body based on the karma accumulated in past lives. Buddhism shares a similar idea, but focuses on achieving liberation from this cycle through enlightenment. These beliefs emphasize growth, accountability, and the idea that life and death are not separate but deeply connected. Christianity teaches of heaven and hell, eternal destinations based on one's faith and deeds. Islam speaks of the soul's journey to the afterlife, the day of judgment, and the mercy of God. Judaism, with its many interpretations, often emphasizes the importance of life here and now, while leaving room for mystery beyond death. Across all these faiths is a common thread. Death is not a final annihilation, but a transition known that reflects how we lived. But what does science say? Modern science focuses on what can be measured, observed, and tested. From a biological perspective, death occurs when the heart stops beating, the brain ceases function, and the body can no longer sustain life. But in recent years, research into near-death experiences, NDEs, has challenged purely material explanations. Thousands of people who have been clinically dead for short periods report similar experience floating above their bodies, traveling through a tunnel, encountering a light, feeling overwhelming peace. These experiences occur across cultures, religions, and backgrounds. While skeptics argue they may be brain-related phenomena, others believe they point to something beyond what we currently understand. Dr. Raymond Moody, who coined the term near-death experience, has documented these cases for decades. His work, along with others in the field of consciousness studies, suggests that human awareness may not be entirely dependent on the brain. If consciousness can exist without the body, then death may not be the end, but a shift, a change in form rather than a loss. The field of quantum physics has also opened philosophical questions. Quantum entanglement, the observer effect, and the nature of time challenge our traditional understanding of reality. Some scientists and philosophers speculate that consciousness may be fundamental to the universe and not just a byproduct of biology. If this is true, then our understanding of life and death may be far from complete. Death, then, might be less about ceasing to exist and more about changing our state of being. But even if science cannot yet give us a definitive answer, human experience offers insight. When we lose someone we love, we often feel their presence long after they are gone. We dream of them. We feel guided by them. Some speak of signs, messages in nature, coincidences too precise to ignore. These experiences defy measurement, but are no less real to those who feel them. They suggest that the bond of love does not end with death. It changes, but it endures. In many ways, what happens after death may reflect how we choose to live. If we live with purpose, with compassion, with integrity, then perhaps we prepare our souls if there is such a thing for whatever comes next. And even if there is nothing after death, our actions echo beyond our lifetimes. The lives we touch, the love we give, the good we create all continue. In that way, we achieve a kind of immortality. Consider the legacy of those who came before us. The words of Maya Angelou, the courage of Harriet Tubman, the wisdom of Confucius, the compassion of Mother Teresa live on in our memory, in our actions, in the progress of humanity. Their bodies may be gone, but their impact endures. This is a truth we can be certain of. How we live shapes the world, even after we are gone. So how do we deal with the mystery of death? We begin by accepting it as part of life. We recognize that fearing death is natural, but allowing that fear to paralyze us is not. We seek meaning not in avoiding death, but in living fully. We love deeply. We pursue truth. We forgive. We dream. We build. We help others. And we leave behind something worth remembering. Some may say that the unknowability of death makes life meaningless, but I believe the opposite is true. Knowing that life is temporary makes it more precious. Every moment becomes a gift. Every relationship becomes sacred. Every act of kindness becomes a legacy. Death is the great equalizer, but it is also the great motivator. It reminds us that our time is limited and therefore infinitely valuable. Throughout history, the wisest minds have not sought to escape death, but to understand it. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." The ancient Stoics practiced memento mori, a reminder that we must not to cause despair, but to inspire purpose. In every age, across every culture, the message is the same. We may not know what happens after death, but we can choose how to live before it. We can create beauty. We can stand for justice. We can nurture others. We can write, build, invent, and inspire. Then when our time comes, we can meet death, not with regret, but with gratitude for having truly lived. So what happens after death? The truth is, no one can say with certainty. Perhaps it is a journey to another realm. Perhaps it is a return to the source. Perhaps it is a reunion with those we have loved and lost. Or perhaps it is the final sleep. But what we do know, what we can know is that we have this life, this moment, this chance to make something meaningful, the greatest truth may not be in what comes after death, but in what we do before it. We are the authors of our stories. We are the builders of our legacies. And whether or not there is something beyond, we can live in such a way that our lives echo long after we are gone. Let us not fear death. Let us use it as a reason to live. Fully, fiercely, and with love.